Hey guys, Kyle here. So, just before the show starts, I wanted to mention our Patreon. You can pay us $1 a month as a thank you, as a tip. You can pay $2 a month to get access to one of our bonus content shows, episodes 2 days early, and a secret Discord chat where all of our Patreon donors get to go and hang out and talk with us directly. Then there's a $5 tier that you can donate to get access to a whole bunch more content. We have multiple bonus episodes on there. So please check it out. Patreon.com/itgetsweird. We don't advertise, we don't make money. So check it out and throw some money if you think that would be cool. Thanks. Welcome to It Gets Weird, our comedy show where we explore the unusual, the unbelievable, and the unexplained to try and make your world a little weirder. I'm Kyle.
Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah. This is episode 316. Kyle 316 says I'm podcasting with a sloppy style.
I'm now, by the way. Hey.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is
and that's because Stone Cold said so. So yeah, we're on this is episode 316. We do like to commemorate the big numbers here on It Gets Weird. Considering we are recording this directly after watching a wrestling show, I guess it's kind of now
it's appropriate.
It's not a wrestling show Stone Cold has ever appeared on.
But who knows? Who knows? Stone Cold could end up on AEW in a couple years, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Stone Cold's gonna show up and fucking wrestle. He's gonna come and give a big speech about how he wants to help put over the young guys, and
yeah. I fully do not believe he will ever be on AEW. That was a joke. But this is the 316, the meme number for Stone Cold. So that's kind of fun for us. Our topic has absolutely nothing to do with wrestling.
Well, you didn't prepare fucking was the Montreal screw job a conspiracy theory or not episode?
I didn't, although that would make for a very interesting episode.
I have thought about doing a wrestling conspiracy theories episode and just really like cross the streams.
Yeah. But I mean, we would have a crossover with our one of our other sister podcasts.
I'll bring Jules on and we can do a wrestling conspiracy
I think that would be fun. I would love to do that.
There are a couple.
But this has nothing to do with wrestling, although like you could maybe develop a headcanon about this story that involves wrestling if you really wanted to. I mean,
that's going to be my goal throughout this entire episode. So,
okay.
What are we talking about today, Kyle?
Well, this week I decided to look into an alien-based phenomenon that I don't think we've necessarily specifically we've talked about this.
Okay.
But we haven't gotten too deep into specifics before. It's certainly popped up in stories, but it's usually just like a reference in a broader thing. This week, I wanted to discuss the phenomenon of recovered alien bodies.
Oh, okay.
Well, I wanted to talk about one specifically that has been, I don't know why I haven't done it until now. It's just one of those stories that I accrued a whole bunch of sources on over time. And just never did the episode for some reason. So now I'm finally doing it. This is about one little fella named the Kyshtym being. Have you heard of this?
I think I've come across the name. Have you heard of this? I think I've come across the name, but I could not tell you at all what it is. So
okay.
I'm ready to be enlightened. I'm ready to play the fool. I'm ready to play the role in which I'm cast here.
Well, I'm about to hit you with a stunner. Dead alien bodies are a thing that we run into on this show. I think most infamously, there's the Roswell UFO incident that supposedly resulted in bodies. But any evidence of that has been covered up by government spooks, or more likely it never happened. There's even a notorious video of a supposed autopsy of an alien body at Area 51.
I've watched that.
Yeah, me too.
It's
erotic.
It's sensual.
Yeah.
It's really it really, if you ever need to impress a date, if you're ever gonna you meet up with that Tinder match for the first time and you're like, hey, Netflix and chill? No. We're gonna watch alien dissection
autopsy,
footage.
Yeah. If you go home with someone who ends up sitting through that whole thing with you and still wants to date you after that, You know it's meant to be.
Yeah, that's how you know you got a real one.
Yeah.
Especially if you do like a double feature of that and the fucking Zapruder film.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, that or you just went on a date with a man in black. It could go either way. So, now there's not as many stories of recovered alien bodies as I'd like, but I guess it could. I don't know.
How many would you like?
I would like at least 35.
Okay.
I'm sure I could dig and find a whole bunch more, but I found this one very specific story. I also imagine it's kind of difficult to manufacture evidence for something like this, or like bring up evidence for this, which is why most of the time the body's never actually. You know what? I'm gonna say, show me the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, like purported evidence of alien bodies is few and far between. But it just so happens that our subject today is not only believed by some to be the body of an extraterrestrial, but it may also be linked to another alien corpse found in an entirely different part of the world.
Interesting. Okay.
So, this is the Kyshtym being. The story begins in May of 1996 in a village called Kaulanovi, located just south of the town Kyshtym in the federal subject of Chelyabinsk Oblast. One evening, an elderly woman was taking a walk just outside of Kaulanovi when she found something strange, quote, under a tree next to a well near a cemetery.
Okay.
A little bit of a hat on a hat.
That sounds like rural directions, you know?
Yeah.
You go down there,
Yeah.
You see a tree, it's under the tree next to the cemetery by the well.
Yes.
And then if you take a right, you'll be at the dairy.
You take a right at the alien body,
Yeah.
you'll be there.
Is that even a reference? Like, is that a thing you can even like? Is that a modern reference at all, or has the rise of like everyone having a GPS on their phone just stamped that out?
I think that having spent like a significant amount of time in like rural, absolute nowhere Indiana, like a year ago for like a year and a half, I would say that there are places that are still kind of like that.
Okay.
I mean, definitely you have access to your phones now, but like there's some small towns where I bet you get very little signal.
Has technology just killed the old man that warns you not to go to the horror movie plot place?
I hope not. There has to be some spots, but if not, we need to start getting more old men who warn you not to go to the horror movie spot out into the world.
Basically, like we need a bunch of old men to. It's really like when you retire, you should have the opportunity to either be a Walmart greeter or be a guy that hangs out at like a podunk gas station that tells people not to go to Camp Crystal Lake.
That is the podunk version of the Walmart greeter.
Yeah.
It would be a huge boon for the job market too.
Yeah,
I mean,
because they do get paid, right? Like that's a paid position.
Yes, somebody's paying them some shadowy government figures. Get up in there and they pay those guys. But I can't talk too much about it.
The same people that are paying Mengele to be every serial killer.
Yes.
That's my white whale that I still cannot find source. I check on that like once every couple months and cannot find any sources that I can't. Like I have to be invited into like a Bush family fucking message board to get anything on that.
You're gonna have to join. You're gonna have to join what, Skull and Bones to get into that one.
Fuck if I know.
So yeah, she goes to this under a tree next to a well near a cemetery, and she brought this strange something back to the village wrapped in a blanket. And for some reason, details on this woman's story differ from article to article. My theory is that a lot of this is translated from Russian.
Okay.
And so, and it's a lot of different sources and it's just one of those things where because it had to go through that translation filter, there's a lot of like information that gets changed from place to place.
Yeah, translation is an imperfect art form.
Yeah. Now, we do know the woman who found the strange thing was named Tamara Vasilyeneva. Jesus Christ. Vasilyenva Prosverina. I'm going to call her Tamara.
You got to bring out that Resnick heritage, though, to pull this out.
Yeah, really, I do believe that comes from the Russian word for butcher.
Yeah.
So I'm going to quickly butcher a couple of Russian names here. So
make your ancestors proud.
Thank you. Yes. One article mentions that the part about Tamara finding the thing near a graveyard was, quote, erroneously reported. So she may have not been near a graveyard. I don't know how much it matters.
She actually was down the well.
Yeah, she found this thing at the bottom of the well. She heard an alien being calling out at the bottom of the well, and Lassie came to get her and all that.
Yeah.
So, another weird detail in some of the articles is that Tamara, I guess, is mentally ill in some way, though what specifically she's ill with is very unclear to me. I mainly mention this because a couple articles have these like really weird details about how and why she found this thing, and like they go out of their way to talk about how she like wouldn't like quote unquote cause trouble for people in the village, or the one even says like, oh, she didn't even visit a psychiatrist except in times of stress, so like she's totally fine. It's just also she's mentally ill. I don't really know what they were getting at. It's just a thing that appears in a couple stories, and it factors into the story later on. So
okay,
I don't know what they're referring to. In fact, at the end of the day, the details that we get on Tamara are incredibly sparse. Like we don't know much about her, to be honest. We know a bit about her daughter-in-law,
okay,
who is Tamara Jr. But
how does that work?
That is confusing to me too.
Yeah,
because that is confusing to me too. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
I don't know how that works either. She must have just been. It must have been a weird coincidence of just like a Tamara married into the family.
Yeah,
like I don't know how it works.
I mean, hey.
So, this particular article reads, or maybe she took the name.
Maybe I was trying to think if that was like.
Because if she's a junior to this Tamara, then maybe she was like, "Oh, I christen you, me, but junior." I don't really know. I don't know how that works.
She was a big fan of Austin Powers and Mini Me. You know.
So you're saying that this daughter-in-law is the mini me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
She could have a very an interest in mini things, because the being that she finds is pretty mini.
Okay.
So she could be like, oh, this is another mini me for my collection of mini me's. Yeah, she names the being Tamara Junior. So yeah, she's a mental case, and this particular article reads like it's trying to like basically what they do with that supposed information is they're like, oh, well, yes, she has mental issues, but also it's like so clear to us that she's telling the truth. It's a weird line they're walking here. You'll see what I mean. So supposedly before her fateful walk, Tamara had received some sort of, quote, psychic transmission compelling her to walk to the place where she found the object, and that the entity that had psychically contacted her was the object that she had found. This was a tiny shriveled alien body. Now what I'm about to show you is the mummified version of this creature. So here is an image of it.
Interesting. Okay.
The body has a weird, somewhat like its head, its skull is like somewhat of a conical shape. Almost.
Yeah.
Actually, picture something akin to a Pope's hat, but it's like a part of the skull.
Yeah. It's got a bit of a Coneheads vibe.
Yes. The rest of its body does just kind of look like a withered, shrunken human body.
Mm-hmm.
And so wrapping this being in cloth, Tamara returned to the village. When locals asked her about the thing wrapped in cloth, she would refuse to show them, only referring to the thing as her baby son, who she named Alyoshenka, which I guess is the Russian name Alexei, but with a diminutive suffix. So it's like little Alexei.
Okay.
In one article, she also referred to the being as, quote, not from this planet.
Why do we not have diminutive
I don't know
in English?
Now, can I tell you something cute and maybe not embarrassing, but my family, when I was little, called me Kailala.
Really? Okay.
Which I don't know whether it's like it functions similarly to this, but I don't know exactly what it comes from, because it's some sort of Yiddish thing.
Makes sense.
And they would call me that. So yeah, that's not even in English. So I didn't really help you there.
No, but it's an interesting fun fact, you know. We're really diving into your heritage here.
Yes, that's
this is a real Kyle Origins episode.
Completely unintentional.
Yeah.
Although a lot of rappers do have this idea figured out.
Yeah, Lil whatever.
Lil X, Lil
Nas X.
Lil Nile, Lil Kyle.
What was it? No, never mind. We didn't have a Lil. It was DJ something and Steve's Pristine.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus. That was on this show.
Yeah, that was
that's a very long time
Bermuda
ago.
Triangle episode, I think.
How are you able to pull that? I could not have possibly pulled Steve's Pristine or I could not have done that. I don't mind. It's like a steel
Shouts out to anyone who's listened to the first 100. Basically, I think.
It's in there somewhere. I don't remember. So the few people who managed to get a look at the thing while it was in the village described some pretty fucking weird shit.
Okay.
It was, I guess, totally hairless. It had these large, like, bulging eyes with vertical pupils. So its pupils were kind of either reptilian or cat-like.
Yeah, okay.
And it had a very small, thin-lipped mouth.
Like John Lennon on that TV show. Not the thin-lipped mouth. Sorry. I did that too late.
Wait.
Imagine if I said that. Have you ever seen the video where John Lennon was revealed as a reptilian?
Oh, man.
On like a TV broadcast?
I've seen Obama for sure.
I went through this weird, like, you know, as you do when you're like researching this stuff weekly for 6 years.
Yeah.
You get on a rabbit hole of watching people get quote unquote revealed as reptilians on live TV.
Yes.
And just like watch like compilations of that. And there's ones with John Lennon like flicking his eyes and his tongue and stuff. It's
there is a subgenre of YouTube video where people basically go comb popular media to look for reptilians accidentally revealing themselves in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time it's Obama. John Lennon also makes some sense.
Yeah, I think Hillary has had that happen a lot.
Yeah.
Pete Buttigieg probably.
That would be funny.
I'm just taking guesses here at this point.
Most people who are kind of on the Pete Buttigieg side of revealing the reptilian truth have discovered he's some sort of alien type that's actually sort of a rat man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Biker mice from Mars.
Yeah, yes, he is one of the biker mice from Mars.
But like tricycle.
But like a recumbent biker.
Yeah, recumbent bikers from man. Pete, someone make that a shirt. Pete Buttigieg is a recumbent biker mice from Mars.
So this thing, it had small holes in its skull instead of actual ears, which aren't ears, just kind of holes in our skulls.
I mean, if you get rid of the flesh part, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really know why they're saying that's not like actual ears.
Well, because it doesn't have an actual, like, fleshy bit,
Oh, I see.
It's just the hole.
He could have had his ears removed for cosmetic reasons. And it had long, thin fingers that were tipped with sharp claws. Importantly, it showed no like belly button.
Mm-hmm.
It also had no genitals, no eyelids, and apparently it was said to make squeaking noises. It usually responded to bright lights or sounds, and it had like this, like it would breathe through this like tiny flat nose. Now most quote unquote real images of the creature that you can find online of it are dead and mummified.
Yeah.
But we do have a drawing based on eyewitness descriptions of what the thing looked like when it was alive. So I'm about to show you some fucked up shit. Look at that fucking thing.
Power stance.
For real.
Oh my God.
It looks pretty funky. I mean, it's pretty much what I just described.
It really looks like a baby doing Blue Steel.
It looks it does look like a baby. It looks like it looks like Tingle
or
from
maybe
Legend
Magnum.
of Zelda.
Yeah, a little bit. There is a distinct Tingle vibe.
Yes.
Somewhere between Tingle and Derek Zoolander.
Yes. Yeah. It's like if you took Tingle, Derek Zoolander, you mashed them together, and then you just like stretched its arms out really hard. You've got a Kulu Limpa going on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, this thing was supposedly alive at one point.
I would assume at some point it was, if it was now a mummy.
Well, fair. But sorry, I guess what I mean is it was in a human society while it was alive.
I gotcha.
It actually gets a lot crazier than that. We'll get to it. But Tamara claimed that she had to feed it herself since it basically didn't have a jaw. Not to mention it had this super tiny butthole mouth. And she would feed it milk and curd.
Yeah.
And occasionally caramel sweets. And for some reason, actually, I think there's a pretty good reason based off of the diet she was feeding this thing, but it supposedly excreted a sweet smelling sweat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does this thing subsist entirely on cow tails?
It kind of sounds like it.
With that diet, it really comes off as kind of a cowtail-esque diet.
Yeah.
You know, because that's in the long skinny. Yes. It can go right through that butthole mouth.
Can I tell you something fucked up?
Yeah.
I was just talking about cowtails over the weekend with my family.
Really?
Because they were like, I can't remember where my mom had like caramels in the house, and I was talking with my aunt and uncle about it, and I was like, these caramels are great. And I brought up cowtails, and everybody in my family, my parents, my aunt and uncle, they were just like, what in the fuck are you talking about?
I always used to poke the like center out with my tongue.
Yeah, get the cream out of there.
Yeah.
Some good stuff.
Because the caramel in cowtails was the most flavorless plastic ass bullshit.
Yeah.
Compared to any other like decent caramel.
Well, and that was kind of my remark is like my mom had this bowl of caramels and it was like, I was eating it and I was like, I love caramel and this is maybe the best caramel I've ever had.
Yeah. I was really hoping you weren't going to compare her sweets to cowtails caramels.
No. Cowtails are pretty shitty, but I ate them.
It's like if you took cowtails and didn't have the cool cream part.
Yeah,
and just had the shitty caramel.
I feel like the shitty caramel is the result of them being like, we got to put more shit in this caramel. The caramel's pretty good on its own. You could just do that. That's good enough. But this has been my cowtails rant.
This is the opinions on cowtails. Some weeks we talk about cow tools. This week we're talking about cowtails. You know?
Oh shit! There's a whole cow sub theme to this show. So yeah, it excreted a sweet smelling sweat. All of these details would come from the account of Tamara's daughter-in-law, who is Tamara Jr. Again,
that still is the most fascinating part of this whole story so far.
It's possible that let's
just keep theorizing on how we got Tamara Jr.
Well, I think it's possible that like this is another weird translation thing that got picked up by a bunch of other articles, because I think in the video that I watched, she gets referred to as a daughter.
Okay,
so it could be that it is her actual daughter, but I don't know. So here's what Tamara Jr. said. I used to visit my mother-in-law twice a week. She was living on her own. On that day, I brought her foodstuffs just like I did before. I was about to leave when she told me we'd better give some food to the baby too. Then she showed me to the bed. I took a closer look at it and saw him. He was on top of the bed, squeaking some funny sounds. I could see his mouth shaped like a small pipe. His tiny scarlet tongue was moving. I also spotted 2 teeth inside. In a way, he looked like a little baby. His head was brown and his body looked gray. I didn't see any eyelids. He didn't have any genitals either. His head looked like an onion. And the pupils of his eyes were widening and narrowing, just like the cat's eyes do when you turn on the light and turn it off again several times in a row.
Yeah, you know, that universal experience.
This is the test that everybody does to their cat when they take it home, just to test and make sure it is a cat. You could have gotten a false cat in there. You set the cat down, you flicker the lights a little bit, you inspect their eyes. Okay, yep.
You know, the cat light challenge.
Yes, this is the cat. Hey TikTok, this is the cat light challenge. Yeah, pretty fun stuff.
It's like Catnip, but with visual stimuli.
Yeah. It's a lot like Catnip.
Catnip and Cowtails. Name of the episode.
Oh shit, we do have an episode name. The fingers on his hands and feet were pretty long. I only bothered to ask my mother-in-law where on earth she'd got the monster from. She told me she'd found him in the forest. She kept calling him Alyoshenka. She gave him a candy and he started sucking on it. I thought it was some kind of animal. He was giving off that smell, you know, one of a kind. You can't take it for any other smell. Actually, the smell was pretty agreeable, yet somewhat nauseous at the same time. And he didn't pass any liquid or solid waste matter. He was sweating, and that was all. She calls her the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
I saw the mother-in-law wipe the sweat off his face with a rag. So.
Yeah, look, this is just one of those families that you're going to end up getting some sort of like like sci-fi original series about,
Yeah.
where it's just like somehow a daughter-in-law with the same that's a junior, and an alien baby that they found near a cemetery by a well under a tree.
Yes. And I'm assuming that
Outside
there's
like, okay, when you first said the name of the city, my mind immediately went to Kowloon Wall City, but I know that's not the what we're talking about here, but that just is where my brain went.
Kowloon Walled City is a band.
Yes, it's also it's also a part of one of the best Secret Avengers arcs where they get like lost inside of basically Kowloon Walled City.
I had no idea.
Yeah, fun thing.
Hell yeah. Now a weird note on the daughter-in-law witnessing the creature here, but apparently at some point she deliberated with Tamara Sr. about calling the police about their discovery. Well, I guess her discovery.
Yeah.
The way it's written, it makes it sound like they mutually decided against calling the police because the creature was clearly not a human baby, and the daughter sort of refers to it as being some sort of animal. So she says, "Let it be Tamara Vasilievna's pet. She will take care of it, and she will have something to do." So
just let her keep the thing.
Just let her keep the weird little alien thing that sucks on caramels.
Yeah,
she'll love it. She'll have something to do. Those seniors, they got nothing going on.
Yeah. Otherwise, they have to be a greeter at a Walmart or warn teenagers off of Camp Crystal Lake.
Exactly.
So,
the daughter-in-law's account of the creature would come later, well after her elderly mother-in-law's time with the small being. And I just want to make a note here. I don't know exactly when these accounts happen.
Okay.
But if I had to guess, there is a media frenzy in Russia after, I think a little bit later. And I'm thinking that all the key players that we talk about in this were all like got the stories out there in that media frenzy and like were interviewed by people and stuff in that moment. And I think that's where all the accounts come from.
Okay.
So after about 3 weeks with this new baby thing, locals began to notice Tamara had disappeared from the village. It turns out at some point she'd been carted off to the local psychiatric hospital. Now, this again depends on which article you read. You get a couple different explanations here. Some say that her so-called baby that she'd been telling locals in the village about, this led to folks like assuming she was imagining things, thus requiring psychiatric help. So like when people are like, they're like, oh, she's mentally ill. Also, all the people in the village knew she was mentally ill. So when she started talking about a baby, they all just assumed that it was something that she had made up. That seems to be like the justification here.
Okay.
But then like on the other hand, it doesn't really help her that like she wouldn't show anybody in the village the baby. She just talked about it a bunch. So I feel like that's going to lead people to the conclusion of like maybe she's like senile or something.
Yeah.
Without having to be like she's like mentally ill. It was a weird.
Yeah,
I mean, weird. Honestly, I think it's just also a part of the translation thing.
Probably. But like I can see where if all of a sudden this old woman starts talking about a baby that she will never show you, that you would think maybe she's making it up.
Yes.
Because
one article, exactly one that I found, says that the name that she'd given this baby was what she used to call her now dead son. So
interesting. Okay.
But I couldn't. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, with pretty much all this, I can't really confirm like any of it.
Yeah.
But because of just the way the information traveled, but yeah. So I don't really know. So a few articles paint a different, more conspiratorial scenario where perhaps some governmental or military force had intervened to separate her from this alien specimen. Most places stick with the locals snitching on her alien baby story.
Okay.
So when Tamara was taken and put into the psychiatric hospital, she immediately began protesting, loudly telling all the nurses and doctors, like, hey, I have a baby at home. It's going to starve without me.
Yeah.
Nobody believed her. And so the Kyshtym being supposedly did exactly what you would expect. It starved to death and then slowly mummified.
When was this?
1996.
Would it have time to mummify by now?
Well, We'll get to that.
Okay.
Because there's, you know what? We'll just get to it.
Okay.
But yeah, she like she supposedly died from starvation without her. Which to me is like a really shitty, like how this alien would survive long enough as a civilization to then build a UFO to come to Earth, and also it couldn't like just like feed on anything because it had a tiny butthole mouth.
Oh, I mean, this is a child. Like maybe
we don't know it's a child.
True.
She assumes it is.
I am assuming that. So yeah, maybe this is just like a small.
This could be the equivalent of a 45-year-old man in their civilization.
It's really good. That just is like, hey, this is an easy way to get cream and curd.
Yeah, maybe the planet that they're coming from, they like basically can filter feed in their atmosphere.
That'd be wild.
Who knows?
Maybe they also can hibernate in a kind of husk-like state.
Oh, that's true. And sort of like the Jenglot.
Yeah.
This is actually, honestly, this creature I think is a lot like the Jenglot, but in Russia and an alien. Also, side note, a couple places also say that Tamara suddenly fell ill and was rushed to the hospital. That's how she ended up going. And that they make no mention of neighbors calling a psychiatric hospital over concerns about her imaginary baby. And in this version, doctors basically like scoff at her, like, you're too old to have a baby. Of course you don't have a baby. You're senile.
Yeah.
Hilariously.
So funny.
No, not that part. What I'm about to say. So hold on a second and you'll understand. You'll laugh so hard at this.
Okay.
The other thing you're not supposed to, that's a little more of a sad sort of, this is so hold on to that laughter.
I will. I'll keep it in the chamber,
Thank
so
you.
to speak.
You're going to love this. So one awkwardly translated article references a story that claims the Kyshtym being was actually crushed to death when a drunk man sat on it.
What?
So after Tamara was taken away to the hospital, her house was left vacant and drunks would just like go in there and hang out.
Okay.
And the story claims that one of these drunkards would later give a testimony that he'd sat on a small blanket on the sofa without knowing that there was a creature sitting there, swaddled like a baby in the blanket. And this crushed the creature's skull.
Oops. So in this case, the baby was just hanging out on the sofa for like days?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, in all cases, that's what happened.
Oh, okay. Get a crib. Come on.
I get so well. Okay. What that story, that like little anecdote about a man crushing it to death because he stumbled into her vacant house drunk, it almost to me reads like a local village had a weird story, an urban legend type deal, and some funny little trickster who ended up getting interviewed or something said that because it was funny, you know, like, did a bit.
It's kind of a thing of like, no one knows the actual thing here, so someone just started telling a tale that got a laugh at the bar, you know?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Now you're gonna have to stick with me here, because a lot of the following info fully departs from English-speaking websites.
Fantastic.
So I'm going to do my best to give my best interpretation. A lot of it's translated fine. Some of it is a little more interpretive. So, anyways, regardless of how it happened, after the alien died, its body, I guess, started immediately drying out and becoming mummified. How that works, I don't know. Doesn't really elaborate.
Yeah, different physiology because it's an alien. Sure, why not?
Sure. There is one person, however, named Vladimir Nerdanov.
Sorry, it's just nerds in the name.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it certainly is spelled that way. This guy, Vladimir, he remembers the creature. He used to actually come to Tamara's house and visit her, and that's where he saw the little creature that she called Alashenka. Now, after he had heard that Tamara was taken to the hospital, Vladimir came to her apartment to take the alien, the little creature, to his house.
Yeah. He's like, I think a drunk man is going to sit on this thing. So
he's like in the house with the baby swaddled in his hands, and he's doing the Chris Pratt versus the versus the Velociraptors bit where he holds his hands up, but it's a bunch of
one hand in
circling
front,
him.
one behind.
Yeah, one behind holding the baby. Yeah. So
dynamite hand acting.
Yes. So he says that he finds this little mummy lying in her bed, and he says, quote, I was about to throw it away like a piece of trash.
Man, what is the, like, out of all of the ways this baby could go, which one is the most fucked up?
I don't know, but it's like a really like, it's like a fucked up Mr. Magoo situation where like a bunch of shit keeps happening to the thing. I guess Mr. Magoo, the whole thing was that shit happened around him, so it's not a great analogy, but picture an inverse Mr. Magoo.
An inverse Baby's Days Out.
Yeah.
Where instead of like going through a construction yard, it actually dies of starvation and turns into a husk and almost gets
sat on by
garbage.
a drunk person. Is fed a bunch of caramel, so it has like a fucking sugar crash, and is like for some reason tossed near a well in a graveyard in the village. Stuff like that.
Do they ever consider that instead of actually mummifying, it actually just crystallized into like a candy state?
They didn't try licking it, as far as I know. Maybe somebody should have.
Yeah.
So he says, I was about to throw it away like a piece of trash, but that thing looked like a real alien. I kind of liked it. Finally, I put it on the garage roof.
What? I put it like a fucking rooster weather vane.
This is why I have no fucking idea.
Alternately threw it up there like Walter White with a pizza.
Yeah, he just fucking tosses this thing. I don't know why he did this.
Look, this was a wild time in Mother Russia. Everyone was just kind of trying to get by.
Yeah, so Vladimir fucking puts this thing on the roof, and the sun, quote unquote, desiccated and tanned the body of Alyoshenko to the utmost. And then, for some reason after that, Vladimir hid the body in the garage. So I don't understand his motivation here. He fucking tosses it on the roof, and then he's like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to move that to the garage now that it's fully desiccated and tanned to the utmost.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with that, but I mean, now I guess he's got a fucking like mummified alien being in his garage.
Well,
I don't know.
Now here's another fun little twist. One day, the police detained Vladimir Nerdanov.
Okay.
Because he was, I guess, accused or suspected of stealing electrical wire from the village.
Okay.
And so when they detain him, he tells them about the weird fucking thing that he found in this lady's house and put in the garage. So the police then confiscate this thing.
But why though? Not like why did he tell them? What did it have to do with him stealing wire?
Look, maybe we simply can't understand the machinations of small town Russia, you know, the between electrical wire thieves and the police there. Like there's just something we're not. Niall, I can't answer that for you.
Okay.
I have no idea. The police found a piece of red cloth that was swaddling this thing, and they opened it up, and they were amazed to see the small mummified body of a strange creature. They then, I guess, videotaped it, which like there are screenshots of what are supposedly this videotape, but it looks like it came from television, which actually would make some sense because a Japanese TV station like gets involved later.
What?
But there are screenshots that look like it came from like television, and they claim in these stories that those screenshots are of the police videotape.
Oh, I forgot. This shows up in the fucking Ring tape.
Does it now?
No, I just
this is well, you did say it was at the bottom of the well.
Yeah, so. Yeah. This is we're gonna tie this into the Ring somehow.
Hell yeah. Yeah, this is at the bottom. What's the name of the character, the lady from the Ring?
Samara.
No, that
starts with an S.
Yeah, it does.
Because
we're talking specifically of Ringu. I don't know what she's called
Japanese
in
version.
the Ring. But shit. Because
they're straight up like that. There's
the
a
Versus
crossover
movie, The Grudge versus the lady from the Ring. I don't remember. I feel bad. I feel like a bad horror fan. So the creature was stone cold and lifeless, and when they touched it, it felt cold.
Isn't it like a husk at this point? Why would it be? Yeah, whatever.
Because Austin 316 says that the creature will be stone cold.
Because Stone Cold says so.
So,
gotta stomp that mud hole.
We have now Major Vladimir Bendlin, who was a former investigator with the police department of Kyshtym. And he is assigned to the case to investigate whatever the fuck this creature is. Now, Bendlin was thinking rationally at first, thinking that it was going to be the body of a child.
Sadako,
thank you very much.
Yeah.
That is the woman in the well from Ringu, the film.
Yeah. The being on the tape.
Yes.
Yep.
What's super weird about this also is that there was no official investigation into this.
Okay.
Even though this investigator is in on the case, he is I guess doing it in his own time.
Look, you got to have a hobby, you know?
I guess so. And that's extra weird when you compound it on the fact that like he's like thinking like this is possibly like a fetus. Or a small child, a really small child.
Yeah. Okay.
But like, what people will say about this is that it wasn't an official investigation because they never considered it to be a human in the first place.
And you can only investigate humans?
You know, Niall, that's a very good point, but I'm going to have to tell you to zip your fucking lip on that one.
Yeah.
Because it throws a whole wrench in this thing.
I'll stop like debating with translated Russian sources at this point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And here's something that Bendlin said, quote, "When the question arose about the registration of Accounting Department of Internal Affairs, the sound consensus was that this is a different form of life, and the issue of registration of this fact lies outside the competence of the police."
I mean, at least Russian police admit when they're out of their element.
Fair. And you know what? Sorry, not to jump too far ahead, but one of the things that's really crazy about this is, as far as I could tell, the entire time that these like former police investigators and like other people involved on this story were like, as long as they were talking about it, they were like, "Yep, it's an alien."
Yeah,
all of them.
It's just like an assumed thing from the get go. Okay, that's fun.
Igor Uskov, who is a urologist with the Kyshtym Hospital, that is the first medical professional to actually get to examine the body of this thing.
They bring in a urologist to look at a thing that has no genitals?
It's a very good point. Well, maybe that's pee that's coming out in its sweat. Maybe it's pissing out its pores, you know?
But it has no urethra, therefore no urology would really like...
You don't know that.
Yeah, fair.
Maybe it has...
Maybe all of its pores are little urethras. I was about to say,
maybe that's a bunch of little tiny urethras. And that's a fun thing to imagine.
Aren't aliens fun?
Truly. I've always said that humanoids needed more than one urethra.
Yeah,
that's always been honestly, my position.
If one fails, then where are you?
Absolutely.
You need backups.
Yeah, I have fun with one, but could you imagine a second one? That's all I'm saying. I don't get enough of piss. I love pissing.
Imagining all of the, I've been in an apartment with no air conditioning for a while now, and so I've become very well acquainted with being sweaty a lot of the time. And imagining all of that just being piss is a real trying thing to think about. Like that is a thought that I didn't need to have to ponder right now as I'm sitting here in a hot room.
I wasn't necessarily saying that all our pores were mini urethras.
I said it. So I'm blaming myself here.
I'm saying, what if we had urethras that came out like the tip of our toes?
Okay.
You know, something like that.
Hey, it would make wearing open-toed sandals a lot more fun. A lot
more hilarious.
Sense. Yeah.
Toe suckers would find an entire new fetish while going down there.
The Venn diagram of those two fetishes would really
really begin to overlap
there. Yeah. All right.
So, this Dr. Uskov, this urologist, believed that it might be a human fetus that was about 20 weeks old. So he asked his colleague Irina Ermolayeva, who is a gynecologist, for a second opinion, and Dr. Irina agreed that the body seemed to be an underdeveloped fetus expelled from the womb prematurely, possibly through a miscarriage.
In my mind, this thing was bigger than that. but I guess I've been wrong this whole time.
Well, it also is like withered and turned into a little super tiny mummy. So, but a lot of other things would have you believe, especially when it was alive, that it was bigger than that.
Okay. So I'm not like entirely wrong in terms of it being okay.
Bendlin was hoping to close the case right after getting an opinion from a pathologist from the city morgue. So Stanislav Samoshkin, a physician pathologist and head of morbid anatomy department at Kyshtym Hospital, he performed a visual inspection of the body, but he was not allowed to have an autopsy. He could not slice into the thing.
Okay.
And that's when he announced that the creature was neither a human being nor an animal. So, according to this guy, it was some new life form. Dr. Samoshkin said, quote, "The creature was not by any means a human being. The human skull consists of 6 bones. The skull of that creature was made up of 4 bones. There were other differences in the skeleton structure. Those anomalies didn't look like any congenital malformations known to date." The skeleton, I guess, was different from a human's, but that was especially true with the pelvis. And it had a pelvis that I guess would indicate that it could walk on all 4s. The arms and the hands were also different from that of a human. The skull, like I mentioned, it had 4 plates instead of 6, occipital, frontal, and 2 parietal temporal.
Sure. I'm with it.
The pelvis. Sorry, this is weird translation stuff. So this article, I didn't realize, but it like directly contradicts itself immediately. It says, "Oh, this thing could walk on 4 legs," but then it says immediately after that the pelvis was actually typical for a bipedal creature.
Okay.
But it also says that proportionally the skeletal structure does not conform to that of a human. Generally, so we get that.
So maybe some element of it is typical to a bipedal, like
maybe,
and
it's a little also, like I said, translation's weird, but the hands that when you stretch them all the way out, they would reach up to the knees. I guess it had no teeth, and it was impossible to examine the bottom of the mouth. I don't know why, but it apparently is.
Okay. Earlier you said it had like no jaw, so
it has like it has just like a little butthole mouth.
Maybe it only has at the top of the mouth. Maybe the bottom is just like a skin flap.
Could be. It had no ears and it had these very large eye sockets.
This man has no chin.
Yeah.
I've honestly been like refraining from making an arse face reference this entire episode.
Shit.
Just because it feels like
kind of arse facey.
It feels slightly in bad taste, but also this is an alien that was probably entirely made up. So is there really good taste? I don't fucking know. All I know is cowtails are pretty good taste.
Exactly. If that's my one takeaway from this, I think.
Yeah.
So I gotta get a cow.
I haven't had one of those in fucking years.
It's been a hot minute.
Maybe I gotta try out cowtails again.
See what it's all about.
Yeah.
Now, since this creature was quote unquote non-human, Bendlin, our police investigator, decided to then consult the UFO organization Star Academy UFO Contact in Zolotov Method.
I think I've come across that before.
Yeah.
Where have I seen that before? Was it in like Fingerprints of the Gods or something? Or was it in like I don't know. Chariots of the Gods? Sorry,
Chariots of the Gods.
One of the Sitchin books.
That's entirely possible because Zolotov is a guy who seems to be a UFO-man.
Okay.
As far I need to look into him some more, but he does pop up in here. This academy was like, they give me it in kilometers. It was like 125 miles away from Kyshtym. And this is in the town of Kamensker-Uralsky of the Sverdlovsk region. And the head of the organization was a woman named Galina Semenkova, and she was brought to see this creature. And she told Bendlin that it was biological, but quote-unquote an artificial creature. I have no idea how she immediately surmises this, because she says that this artificial biological creature was programmed to study the environment and life in space. among other tasks. So,
well, she's very learned about these things. She knows you've seen many of these types of beings. She can tell from the pixels, and the way that it looks, the way that it is.
You can tell it's an alien biological drone because of the way it is.
Yeah.
She, I guess, convinced Bendlin to give her the body of this creature so that she could do her own research, and she promised to get back to him in the future with her results. Bendlin didn't really believe her, but he gave her the mummy anyways because his wife wanted the mummy out of the house. So the old ball and chain disrupting UFO research.
Yeah, get that thing out of your man cave.
God.
No, look, you've got a whole wall of mummified remains. You got to give this one up. You got too many.
Oh my God. So later on, Bendlin would contact this woman and her organization, and every time he would contact him, he would basically be told not to worry, they're studying the mummy. And eventually he was, I guess, unable to make contact with her. And every time he called her, he would get excuses from the person at the other end of the phone line saying things like, she went shopping, she went for a walk, or she is away on a trip.
The she went shopping is really fucking funny to me. Like, this head of the UFO organization, it's like, oh yeah, she's out on the town shopping. Like, what?
It's really good. I'll say it. This is when the Japanese TV show like jumps in and they want to get like footage of this thing. So this crew calls up the relatives of Tamara. Like they call up her daughter. And these Japanese media people were working on a documentary about the creature and they wanted to interview her. However, just several days before the Japanese TV crew arrived, I wish I could confirm if any of this is true. The psychiatric hospital that she was staying at released her suddenly late at night on August 5th, 1999. So they've been holding her for years, by the way, apparently.
Yeah, for like 3 years.
It's so bizarre. Tamara, I guess, somehow just like showed up in the middle of a road somewhere.
What?
And
okay.
It appeared that she had rushed out of the hospital wearing no shoes. And eyewitnesses who saw her claimed that she looked as if she was reacting to somebody's call. So what I think they're trying to say here is that they were releasing her, but she ran the fuck out because she was being psychically called to by the alien.
Yeah, so she's the dead alien that is now a mummified corpse.
Yeah, that is what seems to be implied here.
Okay.
Now, people wanted...
Only a mother's love can bring it back to life.
Yes, exactly. She has to feed it more caramels.
Yeah.
So people, I guess, wanted to take her off the highway, but apparently people saw not one, but 2 cars converging on her and running her over.
What?
So...
What the fuck?
She rushes out of this hospital to try and find her little baby alien boy, gets hit by 2 cars, and is killed.
Jesus, okay.
Which, again, I don't know how true that is, but what that also seems to imply...
That she was murdered?
Is that she was murdered.
Yeah.
All these things seem to imply that she was murdered. I don't fucking know.
Holy shit.
I wish I could get... Because, again, this is the stuff that is just like, I am just having to trust that these translated things are faithfully recreating these sources for me.
Yeah.
As an... Because
Russian men in black don't fuck around.
I guess not.
They're on that, like, burnout shit.
They could have waited a couple of years. This woman was probably going to die. She was old. She was going to die.
But in the meantime, she was going to revive this alien creature that is a drone that is studying our Earth for some sort of
purpose. Who knows?
Some purpose for interstellar beings. Yeah. I don't fucking know.
So all that was left now, as far as evidence was concerned, because the body is in the hands of this woman at this UFO organization and is just not returning people's calls.
And meanwhile, we've got
because she's shopping,
just like pancaked on the highway.
Yeah. Hey, women be shopping.
Oh my god.
All they've got is this video from the police when they inspected the creature initially with Bendlin. But they also uncover what is supposedly a piece of cloth with the bodily stains of the creature from its sweat.
The caramel sweat. Okay.
So Bendlin also was able to, I guess, locate some people who had seen the creature while it was still alive.
Mhm.
This was multiple people in the village, adults and children alike. They had seen the creature, and beyond that, they had seen more of these creatures supposedly in their village.
What? Okay.
They had literally chased away these things out of the village as if they were animals. And according to them, according to Bendlin,
Okay.
according to these people that he talked with, Tamara happened upon a wounded one and was taking care of it without realizing that they were like a scourge upon this Russian village.
See, that makes more sense with drones.
Right.
Like, okay, that this is absolutely unhinged. Okay, go ahead.
This is all stuff that I found in exactly one article.
Okay.
So take it with a grain of fucking salt.
I'm taking it with a whole fucking salt shaker. Like this
please.
is, I'm doing the whole Jawbreaker like Morton shirt level of salt
Yes.
here.
Nemdlin also had heard from locals that groups of these beings had then moved away from the village, probably because they were getting harassed.
Yeah, probably because they were getting like attacked at all costs.
And they basically like moved out, and every year they were getting further and further towards the Ural Mountain range. So they might just be out in the Ural Mountains somewhere.
Yeah, gonna go check out the Dietlov Pass.
I have an incredible image to show you of an artist's depiction of a local woman who found one of these creatures inside her house when she was, I guess, counting a large pile of money.
As you're wont to do.
Which I guess they were salaries for employees, and she like feels a gaze on the back of her neck. She turns around and she sees that one of these little beings are staring at her, and she was so confused because all the doors in the house were locked, and she felt as if she was suddenly in a hypnotic trance, and she just went to bed and slept through the night. And in the morning, the money was all left behind, like nothing had been taken, but the doors were unlocked and left open. And this was supposedly in July of 1996. And here is an artist's depiction of that moment.
What the fuck? Okay. That looks like almost like a Far Side cartoon.
It's a Far Side cartoon, except a super miniature Ultraman has busted into this small Russian woman's house.
Jesus. Okay. It does have a real Ultraman vibe.
It's a little Ultraman looking, yeah.
All right. Or Jet Jaguar, maybe even.
Yeah, it is Jet Jaguar-esque. Later on, they were able to, I guess, examine this cloth that was left behind. And so Vadim Alexandrovich, who was a coordinator of the association called Cosmopoisk, in 2004, he found that this cloth had these outlines from the sweat. And they also found traces of blood and a white substance that they thought was brain tissue.
Interesting. Okay.
So this would
we have matter now.
Yes, and it notes here that this would have oozed out of the skull as 2 of the 4 skull plates of the creature were pulled apart. And this would tie into the statement of the man who accidentally crushed the being by sitting on it.
Right. Okay. Yep.
So
it's he literally like squished the head enough that it started leaking ooze.
Yeah, he popped this thing's head like a grape.
Okay.
And some brain matter stuck to the cloth. So scientists would then carry out a series of laboratory studies trying to get to the bottom of the DNA samples that they had. So they had this biological material from the cloth. Now, the study is conducted by a Moscow-based Institute of Forensic Medicine, and they, quote-unquote, produced sensational results. Quote, a gene discovered in the DNA samples doesn't correspond with any genes pertaining to humans or anthropoid apes, said Vadim Chernobrov, a coordinator with the Public Research Center Cosmopoisk. No gene samples available at the laboratory match the gene. The experts in DNA research haven't come across any creatures with such an elongated DNA molecule. Now, however, the results of the genetic analysis did not match any genes from humans or animals, but also its gene sequence was not in any data bank. It was nothing, apparently.
Yeah, it came up with no results.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure who they're talking about here. I think it might be Bendlin, the investigator, because I watched a video with this guy. But this guy went to the house of one of the ufologists who had supposedly taken the body and like left it. The lady who runs that organization. And I guess going to her house, she just like wouldn't open the door for him. And that the whole time that he was like headed there, he supposedly noticed that he was being followed by some man. So somebody was onto him.
Better be careful, or 2 cars are gonna pancake you on the fucking highway.
Yeah. Now, it was only recently that, and recently probably being a number of years ago now, but Galina Semenkova, the head of the UFO organization, who had originally taken the body, she said at a UFO seminar in Tokyo that after having taken it from the police investigator, she was driving home from Kyshtym to her hometown when a flying saucer appeared in the sky and forced her car to stop.
Interesting.
Aliens from the flying saucer came down and demanded the body of their dead fellow, and she handed the body over to them.
Okay, that's a neat ending to it. No, well, not ending, but like a neat way to wrap it up for her, you know?
Somebody else went to this woman's house and managed to ask her a couple of questions. And interestingly, when she was, I wish that they were more specific, and the details just really start to dissolve here. But she was asked these questions, she said that the body actually did not disappear, but that the Federal Security Service had examined it, which the FSK is like counterintelligence, in the internal and border security, counterterrorism, surveillance, etc. in Russia.
Okay.
And the FSK told her that they would release the information about the thing when they had the right time, but they took it from her and she never saw it again.
So it was either a UFO or the feds.
Yes. Here's a little extra weird layer.
Okay.
This story, which again is translating from actual Russian articles, says what I just described to you. But so they reference this woman as being this ufologist, Semenkovo. She's the one who lost the body, right? But other sources, including a video I watched interviewing these people, say that it was not her, but it was actually this Boris Zolotov.
Interesting.
The name that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So Boris Zolotov was the one who not only was like facilitating these DNA tests, but was also the person who had the body, was either accosted by a UFO, according to him, that's his claim.
Right.
Or other people theorized that the KGB or the FSK or whatever came in and took it from him.
Interesting. So it may not even have been this woman. It could have been someone else.
I don't know. And again, this could be a translation thing. There could be some weird, I have no idea. But we get two entirely
Kyle,
different
I'm going to need you to learn Russian.
Okay.
So you can translate this like really as a native speaker. If you could just get like natively fluent in Russian and maybe redo this episode in the near future.
I will get right on that.
Okay.
And that's a promise.
Maybe download some Duolingo tonight.
I got some Duolingo.
Does Duolingo do Russian?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And really, you're just going to learn a lot of words, not so much grammar. It's
true.
Is kind of how Duolingo works.
Fine. We'll spring for Rosetta Stone.
Thank you. So the last thing I want to mention here is there is a very similar looking body that was supposedly found. And not supposedly, it's a real thing.
You said this might be linked to another case somewhere, like not even in Russia. Okay.
Yes, this is very similar to another entity called the Atacama humanoid. But a few years ago, and here's what's interesting about that thing is when you put the Atacama humanoid next to the Kyshtym being, which some websites do, they do look very similar. They have that sort of like cone head thing going on. Now, here's the thing. With the Atacama humanoid, we did confirm just a couple years ago, like I think 2018, that this was a deformed fetus that had multiple mutations.
Interesting. Okay.
And initial tests, I get like the very short version of it, and we should honestly cover this one as well because it's interesting. But the short and skinny of it is that there were these initial tests that were taken that showed like an 8% difference to like the human genome or something like that. And that coming out about the thing and it sitting like that for multiple years caused people to be like, this is an alien, this is an alien, this is not from Earth.
Right.
This is a cryptid. This one falls into the cryptid camp because it's like not so utterly foreign to our understanding of DNA, but it's like, yeah, so it gets wrapped up in that a lot. And yeah, but there were a lot of places that are like, this is confirmation that both these beings are not only aliens, but they're real. Like, because you could actually, this was a real thing that was examined. And I think honestly that the Kyshtym being was probably a real thing, but I have a feeling that both of these things were
actually aliens that were drones coming down from the sky to do
aliens.
Research for an alien race. Yeah, I'm with you there. It makes perfect sense.
Yep.
No, they're probably deformed humans, but the other way is way more fun, so I'm going to go with it.
Yeah. So, Niall, that is the Kyshtym being.
Okay.
I'm so happy I got to cover this one. I've been wanting to. So
it's definitely interesting. Like, I know the language barrier is a big thing to kind of cross here because so many of the sources are Russian, but like all of the differing accounts make for kind of an interesting story. It's
funny. You get a couple alternate versions of it, and it's fun to try. It's a little
choose your own adventure, you know?
Yeah. I do want to, like I mentioned earlier, I really, 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 really want to do an episode on the body at Roswell, especially, and those out there who know, the connection it has to the weird hospital story about Roswell.
Yeah, there's like this, I think I might know
this nurse mix-up thing that we can't get into it now, but that's a story that I've been looking at for a while too. So I'll take a look at that sometime and see if we can cover that. So
yeah.
Niall, are you ready for a big question?
Oh, boy,
about a little man?
A big question about a little man. Let's go.
All right. Sorry, I got to be all proper for this one. Niall, if you were to be picked up on another planet by an alien and kept as a baby, which alien race would you want to be your mommy and why?
Man, that's a really good question. I think, I mean, like it's sure, it's the easy guess, but mantids, mantids are just kind of the fun one.
You kind of grow up to be a bit of a party, fun going.
Yeah, like I could go with something, like the Alpha Draconians, who are like the fucking big, like fuck you, like evil master race kind of thing.
And you could, and that's what I was gonna go with.
Yeah, but like I kind of want to just like chill out and have some fun with some mantids.
That's very valid of you. I want to be swaddled in a cloth like a baby by an Alpha Draconian. One
like a fucking 20-foot tall dragon, basically. Yeah.
So first of all, dragons are sexy. We all know this. Everybody knows this. Second of all, I'm on their side at that point.
True.
Although, don't they have some really barbaric like murder your own children thing?
There is some stuff.
Wasn't
with
that
like yeah, there was some kind of trial by combat type stuff in them. But I think oddly enough that was in like the women of the
okay, so I'm
race.
Good.
But like there's nothing about pets there. There is like
I'm not saying I'm a pet.
System.
I'm saying that I get to be their baby.
Oh, fair. Yeah, so maybe you're fine.
So maybe I'll get raised to be like a cool, like maybe I'll pick up some traits. Like I'll still be human, but like I'll be like really ripped and like dangerous. I'll be like a fucking super soldier because I got raised by them.
But then like you'll get like psychically sniped by some fucking special forces.
Yeah, well I'm going. No, see what's going to happen is that was me. Mm-hmm. Who is the baby of the Alpha Draconian on Mars that got sniped by that super soldier from however many episodes ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm on my revenge plot.
You're going to John Wick the entire secret space program.
To John Wick the secret space program, which I'm happy to do, frankly. It sounds fun.
Yeah, man, that the whole like sniping of an Alpha Draconian thing is one of those things that's really sticking with me.
Yeah,
it's always fun to see like what really like just bores into my brain and stays there, you know.
Yeah, go back to the Alpha Draconians episode a few weeks back to if you need the context.
Well, that was on the secret space program episode. The Alpha Draconian primer
right, that came out right. So that's actually like I don't know, multiple months ago now, right?
Yeah.
So go back to the one about the secret space program super soldier guy. I don't even remember their name.
Yeah, not the one from like years ago. The one from like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. So,
cool. Well,
I like to talk about fucking space programs.
I dig it, and I love learning about them.
Yeah. Anyway,
so what do you think? You want to take care of some business?
Yeah, let's go and wrap this one up. So if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Twitter at IGW Podcast.
You can follow us on Facebook.com/ItGetsWeirdPodcast.
And we're on all your favorite podcatchers from Stitcher to Google Play to Apple Podcasts to Why is Google? Yeah, Google Play's a thing.
Google does all kinds of stuff.
I said that, and my brain was like, "That's not a thing."
Google does phones.
Whatever. Spotify. If you listen to podcasts somewhere, look up "It Gets Weird," and you're probably there.
itgetsweirdpodcast@gmail.com. Send us Jesus Christ!
Send us cowtails.
Send us cowtails.
We don't have a PO box, but send us cowtails.
Find a way. See if you can do a cowtail drop in the city of Indianapolis.
Yeah,
and just like email us and be like, you will find it at this location, and we'll go get it.
Do the geocache some cowtails.
And I'm gonna add a stipulation to you geocaching the cowtails. Please do not snare us in a murder trap of some kind or anything like that. Because that would kind of defeat the purpose. Like, we want to eat the cowtails, not get murdered. So patreon.com/itgetsweird. We have a $2 tier and a $5 tier. At the $2 tier, we're doing It Gets Weird TV, where we're watching a weird show. Right now, we're towards the back half of season 2 of Gravity Falls. And that show comes out every other week. Now, at the $5 tier, you get that show plus another show on It Gets Weird TV's off week. So you're getting bonus content every single week. And whether you donate to the $2 tier or the $5 tier, you get access to our mainline show 2 days early on Friday instead of Sunday. You get access to our Discord where you can hang out with us and chat about anything you want, including fucked up little guys like little aliens and stuff.
Yeah, or little fish. That's been a thing lately.
That's true. There has been a lot of fish getting posted in the what is essentially the Share Your Pet Pics channel.
Yeah, that's not how it started, but it's what it's become. And I'm okay with it, frankly.
I love it. I love seeing people's cats. Like, I live vicariously through people's
lots
pets.
of good animals, and luckily people spoiler tag anything that's like a spider for me. So that's really wonderful that our community has leaned into that. Wow,
I wonder if that got picked up by the mic. Jesus Christ.
Someone's
some
really
parking lot action.
Fast and Furious action out there.
Capping this episode with a little bit of a parking lot update. Somebody just fucking tore ass through the parking lot.
Yeah.
Jesus, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Patreon. Please donate. We also have a $1 tier. You don't get anything out of it. You just are giving $1 a month to your favorite fucking podcast. And what's not to like about that?
Yeah.
If you can't donate, please tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your congressman all about It Gets Weird podcast.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening. This has been It Gets Weird, and I've been Niall.
And I'm Kyle, signing out.
Peace.